Okay, so this is Cockerpunk. My name's Gordon. You probably all know me by now. I just wanted to, I've been browsing PBN here all afternoon because I got out of work early. So, just wanted to correct two things that I guess I didn't get into the conclusion, or maybe you didn't read the conclusion. Actually, three things. One, the whole point of this test was to see if we could replicate what Sean said. So, and that was so far the only evidence that we had that was against the theory that all guns shoot the same distance, regardless of how they work. That given the same velocity and the same angle of launch, they will all shoot the same distance. The only evidence that was ever presented in that thread against that theory was Sean's anecdote about 10 years ago, the flatline, the shoebox. We all know the story by now. So, the point of the test was, since the real world is repeatable within reason, we were going to test to see if we could get a shoebox to shoot farther at a lower speed. And we didn't, obviously. So, that was the point of the test. So, it clearly shows that. I mean, even if you dispute the video quality, which I apologize for. YouTube is not very good, and my camera is not that great either. Bryce might get some access to some really sweet high-def videos, so we might try something with those. Maybe more of an accuracy test, I'm not sure. We'll try something, I'm sure. Anyway, so even if you think the videos are BS or whatever, you can still clearly tell the difference between a hit on the plywood and no hit, meaning the ball went over the target. So you can clearly see, even if you want to dispute my little texts on the top, that the paintball, that it just doesn't shoot farther than an autococker at 300, and I'm not even going to dispute that the flatline shoots farther than both. So that was the point of the test, and it doesn't necessarily have to be all that scientific to get to there. That was the point. We did what they asked to try and recreate what Sean wanted, and that's the deal. Now, the second thing I wanted to talk about here is the difference between that baby and this baby. All right, Cyborg, yada yada, open bolt, EP, works like an ego. Timmy, whatever. Cocker, closed bolt, mechanical, cool, right? All right. So now we have this paintball, right? It's a PMI. Fired out of this gun, right? And it leaves the barrel right, there, right? So as it leaves the barrel, see all that nice porting? All the pressure in the barrel is vented at that point. Jack Wood's video clearly showed that the pressure had vented at that point. So the ball is right now just moving out of the barrel, and the air around it is at high speed, but it's no pressure, so there's basically no force. So once this leaves the barrel, like the physical touching of the barrel, once it leaves that point there, the ball has this gun has no force on the ball, right? So, now we go to this gun, right? I need a new paintball for that one, because, sorry. A different paintball, fired from this gun, closed bolt position. Woo, cool, yeah, woohoo, closed bolt's better. I love closed bolt guns, sorry. This baby, you can't see it, but the carbon fiber is drilled for ports. So, same deal. Pressure is 0. So, as soon as this ball, ooh, that's a bigger bore front. Interesting. Anyway, as soon as the ball leaves that barrel tip right there, this gun has no force acting on the ball. Now, here's where our nice little simplifying assumptions come into play. Assuming this gun shoots paintballs at 300 feet per second, which is the same as this gun shooting paintballs at 300 feet per second. There is no difference in the forces acting on that paintball there and this paintball here. This paintball can be interchanged with that paintball because the only forces acting on it are gravity and wind resistance, since wind resistance is a function of ballistic coefficient, Reynolds number, all that shit, since they're all that crap. Since they're both the same size, within reason, since they're both the same size and they're the same shape, they have the same air resistance, and we know that gravity is regardless of mass or anything like that. So the acceleration due to gravity, the two paintballs will fly the same distance. Now if we introduce spin into the equation, that's different. But Tom K., Carter, Simon, they all did some research with barrels that are made of glass, and they found out that, guess what? Paintball out of a smoothbore barrel, a good smoothbore barrel, doesn't spin. Boom. Okay, there's the physics. Now, if you can name a force from this gun that acts on this paintball right outside the breech, or right outside the muzzle, then you win. Okay? So try that. If you want to try and disprove this theory, that's the way to do it. I'm giving you a big hint. Try it. Okay. So now the last thing that I wanted to talk about, get these guns out of here. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the title of the thread, which is Smart Parts Lies Debunked. It's different on a couple of forums, but it's basically the same. Now, the reason I chose that is because, number one, many of Smart Parts' patents include devices that, in the dissertation or the objective or whatever of the patent, say that they increase the range of a paintball gun. Right? So right there, that's a lie. Lied. Okay? Secondly, when I was at CPX, at the Living Legends game, you might have heard of it, maybe not, I don't know. Not much of a scenario player myself, but I'll play any kind of paintball anywhere. But I go to this, and I go and I talk to Billy, and we had a nice chat about the legalities and some of the history and stuff like that, but eventually it did switch to paintball gun technology, and we got in a huge argument about the range of guns, and like I said, sometimes my voice was hard to hear because I don't like to be necessarily too rude, especially in person, to somebody like Billy, but eventually I did get a number out of him, which I was very pleased. He said 1 to 3 yards of extra range for a low pressure gun. Now, the test shows that's not true. The little paintballs, yay, coming out of barrels, shows that how the ball got to that point, how the ball gets to this muzzle, how it gets to this point, as long as it is at this point going this direction at 300 feet per second, how it got there does not matter. So, Billy, you're still wrong. All you 14-year-old kids who are trying to fight me, you guys are still wrong. It didn't happen. Anyway, so the Smart Parts Lies things comes from me and Billy basically yelling at each other about range and the patents, and Sean talking about the Lux shooting flatter and all that jazz, which is just not true. I mean, your imagination can play fun games with you. So, that's that. Those are the 3 points I wanted to address. The scientificness of the test, the physics that we're arguing about, and thirdly, the thread title. So, I'll upload this onto YouTube, and hopefully people will watch this before they post in the thread, because that's the #1 thing I hate, when I deal with, like, an issue, and it takes me like 10 posts to convince this person, and then 3 posts later somebody posts the exact same damn question. It pisses me off. So, also, don't private message me questions. That really annoys me too. Just post in the dang thread. So, after you read the thread. Post after you read the thread. So that's that. And, alright, I'll see you guys later. Hopefully I won't have to do a third one of these. Yeah, see ya.